Let's have a beautiful conversation, no insults and no calls. And please add your name when you send your message to WhatsApp. Now let's start with the National Population Council, which is calling for a policy that will sanction all couples who have more than 3 children. The Executive Director of the Council, Dr. Letitia Apia, believes the move can help manage Ghana's growing population, which is currently at around 30 million. Let's hear your views on this proposal.
I think it is a laudable suggestion or advice. Why? Because, you know, we talk about the economy of the state. There's so much hardship. Even people who have a normal work and earn above 1,000 cedis or so find it quite difficult taking care of more than 3. So and now we don't have much jobs. There's a lot of youth unemployment in the system, and I think if this counts, we have less people in the country, and at least we can manage the little we have.
If I have the means to take care of 5, 6, 7 children, who stops me? Nobody stops me if I have the means. So it's an issue of, it's not an issue of whether somebody agrees or not. It's a matter of somebody being able to take care of the children if they are 4, 5, 6. And the person who will not be able to take care of those children, how are you going to even stop the person? How is the policy? Is it going to bind on the people in the country or what? What is it? How is it going to be? So it depends how the government would like to, go about the whole thing.
Look at China. You look at China. Look at the number, the population they have. They are still producing, and some of them are here. Is it because our development hasn't taken us to that point like China? Except the government would want to cushion families. That is why he wants to bring up the number of children that you should give birth to. It should be open, the number that you can take care of. Why not?
How can somebody have cars, and when he comes to office, they'll give the person more cars? The person has maybe house. When the person comes to office, they give the person more houses. Traveling every now and then, they know they are overusing the money. Yet they are using it, and you say people should, if they have good reasons why people should give birth because of health, fine, but not because the economy is becoming hard. No, they are cheating us. The ordinary people are suffering.
All right, it's
quite a serious proposal, you know. But I'm just wondering what some of us would do if this comes. Because I'll go to probably the US, have 10, and bring them back. How about that?
Well, how are they going to stop it, actually? That's what I'm wondering.
I don't know how it's going to work.
How are they going to
It's going to be quite tough. Let's check out what you've been posting.
Right, so Mustafa Yakubu says, I'm a Muslim and my religious faith tells me I can marry up to 4 wives, and it is my intention to marry up to that number. They, my wives-to-be, have all told me the number of children they each want. That's 5, 6, 4, and 5 respectively. In all, I'm going to have 20 children to myself. As for the policy, the least talked about it, the better. Ivan Zoya says, guess the proponents have never heard of selective infanticide in China. In a patriarchal society like Ghana, where male children are highly revered, very soon, I can assure you, we will start importing wives for our sons. When you check and the fetus is a girl, you visit Auntie Memuna secretly and it is gone. Mark in Cancer says, some people would be like, nobody can dictate to me the number of offspring I can have, and they will run to you for assistance whenever they deem fit. If you help, it means they know what is good past you. If you don't give, you feel empty for shutting your bowels. Okay, I'm quite getting it. Ernest Gade says, growth in population must match growth in the provision of social amenities. That in this part of our world, sadly, it isn't the case. If our government had done their bit and we weren't making progress, then the call would have been legitimate. As it is now, we may decide to go by the policy, but if the government proceeds on this tangent, then that policy, I'm afraid, is bogus. Okay, yeah, your shorthand is a bit troublesome. It makes it difficult for us to read. So please make it a lot clearer.
And Obed Mogzon Kwanzaa says people should only be prosecuted if they are not able to provide for their children the basic needs. And he mentions all of that: food, health, shelter, education. If I can cater for 10 children, it's my choice. And I'll take this one coming from Please inside the Akuman. He says, Aisha, woo, can I take you out? Okay, I'll think about that. This one is coming from Kojo Salt Pond. He says, I strongly agree. I have been campaigning for this for a very long time. Plenty children is a major cause of Ghana's problems. This one coming from who? You didn't mention your name. He says, it's logic to produce what you can take care of than to produce babies and waste their lives. And I'm reading this one from Eben from Zibila. He says, honestly, children are gifts from God. God will not give us a bad gift. Why will I refuse a gift from God? And this one from Geraldo Akofa from Ho, he says, I think 2 is okay so that we can take good care of them and help others in need. And this one is coming from, he didn't add his name. He says, somebody has a child, but he's not able to take care of him. So the government should do something about the decision. Okay, so I really don't get what you're trying to say. And Leonard from Wa says, the ordinary man is indeed suffering. The government is measuring in minor things and minoring in major things. Okay, it's quite a rhyme there. I don't really understand what you're trying to say. All right. So also, I'm sure what I'm about to say will shock you to the marrow, especially as we've had series of issues of police brutality just recently. Now, we're being told that the district police commander for Kontombra in the Western region, ASP Dixon Obing, has been accused of prescribing 36 lashes as a corrective measure for a 14-year-old class 6 pupil, Stanley Entry, who attends school in that area. I mean, you've seen photos making rounds on social media, and Stanley is seen with those marks of the physical assault at his back. And what marvels me is that this comes amidst public outrage over other cases of police brutality, with the recent one being the battering of a woman by a police officer in the Midland Savings and Loans branch. What's your stance on this?
Well, I think it's unfortunate, and then this year too many issues about police officers and stuff like that. So I think that the authorities should start checking the recruitment process to know the kind of people to bring in here, because it's unfortunate. Even teachers are not being allowed to lash students, and then a policeman wearing a uniform lashing a kid like that is quite unfortunate. So it's high time we start paying attention to the recruitment process into the police force.
I think the police administration should take another look at how their employees discharge their duties. Okay, the core duties of the police should be clearly spelled out, and serious punishment should be meted out to those who flout these rules.
It was a cane, so the policeman eventually even played a role as a father or as a senior brother to him when the guy got beaten. I wouldn't see anything wrong with it.
All right, so if you haven't seen the picture, I'll give you the opportunity once again to look at the picture of how that physical assault, resulted on the back of this young man, 14-year-old man. All right, so let's check out some of your messages.
All right, so Sydney Kojo says, the job we choose to do, very deadly and risky all the time. That is a police officer lying down there in a pool of blood. When these things happen, the gender minister, the interior minister, so the president, cooking a nice open letter for him, so no big deal. I once again, in a very fine language, tell him that what is on my heart, as I usually do in times like these. It's pretty long, so we'd have to skip it. Let's get to Lovely Omo. Says government should set up an investigative team to investigate Ghana police service. I'm sure they are making good use of trauma. Oh, really? Sydney Kojo says, when this police officer who puts his life online to protect Ghanaians, and okay, let's move on. It looks like Sydney just go back to us. Hygia says, journalists keep on inciting the public against police. Okay, don't forget what happened in Rwanda some years back was as a result of people inciting, the media inciting people. So journalists keep it up.
I really don't think we're inciting.
That's not the whole idea. Okay, Kobe Otan says the media's war with police will soon backfire. Instead of applauding them for the wonderful jobs not shown on camera, we are out here crucifying all of them for some few minor mistakes they did. when you meet the bad guys, don't call them. If you think they are so terrible, people's disrespect for law enforcement in Ghana is appalling. Shout out to all the good cops out there. Akwesi Nyako says that agency holds part of our safety in this country. So with this useless post, what do you want us to do? Close it down? Or you think it's a bank that we can close it down? The abuse and harm you, the media, cause to us in this country, who reports you? Okay, let's move on. Joseph Tay says, how many of us talk about the Kwabena jailbreak? Yet the policeman died on duty, leaving his wife and kids. We fail to applaud him. Another policeman was shot in Kumasi on duty. Okay, so there are quite a few people who think that the police is doing a good job.
But of course,
should be applauded.
We've been talking about some of the good things they do. Doesn't mean that when they do bad things, we can't also talk about that. So I think that we've been in between the good and the bad. And Jambedu from Boko says this has been happening for a long time, and social media is beginning to shine the light on the police service. All Ghana Police Service cares about is bribe, not the lives of Ghanaians. This one is coming from, okay, so he posted a picture. This one says it's quite sad, but Ghana Police Service needs to review the training of their personnel. This is from Samuel Nyaba in Sunyane. This one says, oh God, have mercy on our police officers. And this from Possible from Takrade. Okay, this one is from Hakim from Tamale. He says the policeman has been made to know that they are not allowed to take money from anybody for whatever reason. Okay, so we're not talking about money. Okay, so finally, staying in relationship for long does not guarantee love, because sometimes we tend to have feelings for other people outside of our relationship. So what will you do if you realize you're no longer in love with someone you've been dating for 6 years for someone else?
It will depend on how long I have known the new person, okay, to actually know whether what I feel for the person is real love or not. Yeah, but if I am actually sure of myself that what I feel for the new person is love, then it will have to be something I'll have to sit down and discuss with the first person, the one I've dated for 6 years. We all have to sit down and discuss like two matured people.
Well, you won't be fair to the person if you don't tell the person that I have feelings for somebody else, or I don't love you anymore. Okay, and then you just pretend that, or you make the person assume that you still love him or her, and then you get married and everything. Now, first, you won't be fair to the person, you won't be fair to yourself. If the person really loves you and you really love the person, you come to maybe an agreement, or you come to a certain conclusion, and everybody be happy.
I would simply quit and marry the one I love, because without love, like, the relationship is based on nothing. Just like maybe you want to eat rice, and then you feel like eating rice, and then someone brings you banku. You still going for the rice because that's what you feel like eating.
Oh, it is very simple. Just compare. 6 years, it's not an easy journey, and I'm sure if the love isn't genuine, we wouldn't have got that far. But if I think probably the love is because of something that the lady did for me or something like that, why not? I might leave that lady for the new person, but under normal circumstance, I think it's not right for you to, leave your partner that you've been in a relationship with for quite some time now, just for the new lover. You might never know what the other day or the days ahead may bring forth. So you should, at least compare.
Israel, so he's just saying as if it's just easy to do that. What would you do, Israel?
No comment.
All right, so for that's how we end the interactive segment. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Have a great evening.